big, gritty win against the Rockets. How high can the Lakers get before the playoffs start? Who should they want to play? We got player grades. We're breaking down the Lakers win. Also, NFL OT rules changing for the regular season. Jurickson Profar gets popped for the juice. Pat McAfee ruining a young lady's life. That's coming up next on The Big Lead. What is up, and welcome to the Big Lead Podcast. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. I've been covering sports professionally for over a decade. Bleacher Report, 24/7 Sports, Locked On, also Dodgers Nation. I also do NFL radio for Westwood One. I'm joined as always by my man J-Rob. We'll check with him in a little bit. I'm going to give him maybe 30 seconds to talk about his UConn women's Huskies team. No, we'll get into that. We'll talk about that really quick for sure. The Final Four set, but Lakers get a big win at Crypto.com Arena last night. It was a big dub for the Lake Show. The Lakers were looking up at the Rockets at the number 2 seed. They're in the 5th spot, and with a win on Monday, they closed the gap by a full game and tied the season series at 1 apiece. They win by a final score of 104-108. They got another game against the Rockets next week, and the victory that puts them in a great position to own the tiebreaker against the Rockets, and then you could possibly pass them in the standings. So right now, the Lakers, they are sitting at 46-29. And looking up at the Nuggets and the Rockets, right now they would host the Grizzlies in a first-round matchup. But let's talk about last night's win, because I thought it was a great win for the Lakers just because they played into the style of the Rockets and were still able to get the dub. And the way they shot, Lakers shot 39% from the field. The Rockets hit just 36% of their shots in the second half. It was a rock fight. It was a street brawl kind of in the second half. But the Lakers, they outplayed Houston. It was a playoff-like atmosphere, and they were able to get the win. For all the unks out there, the old heads that want to see 90s basketball back, that felt like a 90s basketball game there in the second half. Now, you look at the first half of the game, and it was rough. It was rough for a Lakers team scoring 16 points in the first quarter. They did have a moment there where they hit a real scoring slump. They went 3 minutes without a bucket. The Rockets, they took full advantage. They put up 5 straight points in that stretch. It turned into just a low-scoring affair early on. Both teams struggling to find a rhythm offensively. Houston did have a 3-point lead at the end of the first quarter. Then the second quarter started. Jabari Smith Jr., he went off. He caught fire. He had 8 straight points. Houston, they upped that defensive pressure. They forced the Lakers into bad shots. And you need a big shot by LeBron. It wasn't the greatest LeBron James game by any stretch. I think defensively he played well, but it's a big one-legged 3 there to keep that Lakers offense afloat and in that one. And then Jordan Goodwin, he takes the ball from Brooks, converted a nice little layup there. The Lakers, they were down by 4 with under 7 minutes left in the half, and they were shooting 17% from beyond the arc. And then enter Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent and Dorian Finney-Smith combined, they won the game for the Lakers last night. Gabe came off the bench. He had a 3 for the Lakers. Lakers were shooting just 34% from the field, but because of that strong shooting, they kept the game close. Luka, I want to talk about this moment too, where Luka had Sengun on skates before passing to Dorian Finney-Smith, his buddy, for a 3. He had my man Sengun playing Twister out there. And it was a fun moment. And I think about Luka Doncic, you don't think of him as Mr. Kyrie handles or anything like that, but the way he can dribble, the way he can shoot, it definitely shows it right there that he can keep his defender off balance and embarrass dudes when he needs to. And then the Lakers hit a couple free throws from Luka to tie the game at half. And in the second half action, the Lakers go ahead by 4. Both teams had 5 3-pointers early on in the second half. Jackson Hayes didn't have a big night offensively, but he did have a nice dunk. Brooks kind of put some points together, scored 5 for the Rockets. And then it was the DFS show again. LeBron Just couldn't really get it together in the first half, but second half, he did find a rhythm, hit 5 points there early on. With 3 minutes left, the Lakers, they were just turning the ball over, missing shots. They hit a 2-point lead and they went up 5 after another 3 from Gabe Vincent. And Gabe hit another 3, his 5th of the game. Between him and Dorian Finney-Smith, he had 11 long-range threes, 11 beyond the arc. And then Rui, not a great game from the field, but he hit a 3 as well. So the Lakers, at the end of the third, they were up 5. In the final quarter, the Lakers were up 7, but it got turned into a slugfest really quick. You know, with Brooks involved, it was going to at some point, but the Lakers kept answering yesterday. They answered every time the Rockets got it close. Lakers hit a big shot, got a big stop. Thompson, he scored 5 points, and that put the Lakers within striking. That put the Rockets very close within striking distance. And with 5:42 left to play, the Lakers, they made a 2-point game. The Rockets made a 2-point game. It was close, and then you had 2 free throws, 1 by Luka, he had a pair, then 2 by Gabe. That puts the Lakers up 5 with 6 minutes to go in the fourth. Then Smith, he hit another jumper to get the Lakers a deeper lead. And then Houston, just the breakdowns defensively in that one. You had LeBron finding Rui for a really nice dunk in a defensive breakdown. Then Dylan Brooks, he had a steal. He had 2 free throws. He split the pair to keep it a 2-point game with 20 seconds, but LeBron, he hits the 2 clutch free throws. The Lakers led with 4 with a couple of seconds left, and the Lakers, they get the win. So, yeah, nice little block there by LeBron, too, just spiking it on the Crypto.com arena floor near the baseline there. So, yeah, my big takeaway from this one, not the best game from the big three. Offensively, defensively, I think Luka, Reeves, and LeBron had their best defensive showing in a long time. But tonight was about Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent. They made 6 3-pointers. He scored 20 points off the bench in a game where the big three, they just weren't giving that scoring punch. It was those 2 guys that proved that, hey, they could win a game for you in the playoffs. Dorian Finney-Smith, 20 points, 6 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals. Gabe Vincent, 20 points, 4 boards, 1 assist. You had 6 threes from Gabe. You had 6 threes from Dorian Finney-Smith. That was the game. They're getting the game ball. And after the game, J.J. Redick, he talked about the Lakers win and how important the defense was.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a rhythm. I mean, those are 2 very different games. The competitive spirit and togetherness, we had to play really hard tonight to put ourselves in a position to win the basketball game. Set a season high for catch and shoot threes with 29. A lot of those were uncontested. We were 2 for 16 on uncontested threes in the first half. I feel like, you know, we left a lot on the table, and they did a really good job, I thought, of not allowing us at times to get the matchups that we wanted with some of their scrams, some missed shots. Did a good job of taking care of the basketball, limited them to 13 fast break points and 10 second chance points, made them play in the half court. Our guys really competed on that. They left everything on, you know, they emptied the tank. They emptied the tank on the defensive end. It was fantastic.
I think my speed monitor. So, yeah, J.J. Redick, I mean, he's making some really good points right there in that, look, they didn't find a rhythm, but they still found a way to win. I think tonight or yesterday was a really good example that you win with veterans, you win with quality role players, and when you don't have an established veteran as your superstar on the other team, you do have Fred VanVleet, like the Rockets, they're going to have to answer some questions in the playoffs if they have enough firepower and guys that can come through in big spots to get it done. But J-Rob, big win for the Lakers. We talked about it yesterday. This team needs to rack up as many wins heading to the playoffs. Not a great game for LeBron, not a great game for Luka or Austin Reeves, but I think that's a positive sign. They can beat one of the better teams of the Western Conference and not have the best night from your big three.
Yeah, I thought there was a really big silver lining with this game. This is one of those moments where you're going to have to win a dogfight. And you want your basketball team, especially heading into the postseason, to sometimes win a grudge match. And this was a very physical basketball game. I love the fact, honestly, watching Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent come alive in this game. That's a great sign for Lakers fans because those are guys who have playoff experience. You've seen them with Dallas. You've seen Gabe Vincent with the Miami Heat. And so you want your role players to come alive in the playoffs because obviously we know what Luka's going to do. We know what LeBron's going to do. And even Austin Reeves having an off night, he's been consistent throughout the season. We know what he's capable of as well. But you do want your role players to be able to chip in because that 15 you get from a DFS or that 20 you may get from a Gabe Vincent, that 6-3 a night, that's a game that wins you a playoff round. It wins you a game. And so, they're obviously your big three didn't have the greatest numbers on the stat sheet, but I really was impressed by this win because sometimes you do have to win ugly.
For sure. And it's a good test for them at this part of the season is to put them in a dogfight, have those other guys entrust them to come up in those spots, and they certainly did. Throwing out our grades, LeBron James, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. I love that emphatic, just like, block at the end, showing some toughness, some aggression there. 5 for 12, 2 for 4 from beyond the arc. Did hit 2 clutch free throws at the end. The Lakers were at +9 with Keem James out on the floor. And yeah, it wasn't a great night offensively. He lost the ball a couple times, wasn't dribbling it right. He kind of lost the ball, trying to take Dylan Brooks to the basket there in the fourth quarter. It was a costly turnover there in the final minute, but still comes up big, gets the dime to Rui, who hit the nice dunk, hit 2 clutch free throws, had a big block late. It's LeBron James. Like, his C grade is most teams' like best game ever, right? So when you look at the totality of their performance, Luka Doncic, I'll give LeBron like a B- just because it's LeBron James. Like, LeBron. We're gonna talk about those songs.
He's on a curve.
Yeah, exactly, right? He's on a curve. There you go. Luka Doncic, 26, 9, 2, 6 for 16. Not a great night shooting beyond the arc for Luka. 1 for 7 from downtown. Did go 7 of 9 from the charity stripe. And he looks like he's banged up a little bit. He looks like he's not at 100%. So I'm looking forward to these 2 days of rest for Luka before the Lakers take on the Warriors. And he needs a 3-ball to start falling for him, and he needs to get hot for this team to have a realistic chance of making a deep run. But the thing about Luka, we talked about LeBron when he's not playing well. Luka, when he's not playing well, scoring-wise, is always making the right play. When he put Sengun on skates and had him playing Twister out there on the Crypto.com arena floor, he was finding DFS for 3-pointers. He found DFS for 4 of his 6 3-pointers in those pick and pop actions on the night. Austin Reeves, 12, 8, and 3 and 2, 5 for 11, 0 for 3 from Reeves. Reeves' kind of variance game by game is starting to scare me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I loved your take about him in the best third option in the league. When he's at his best, he certainly is that, right, and he's for sure in the conversation. But when his jumper is a little messy, and he just doesn't have great feel for just getting to the rim in certain spots, it almost feels like he's thinking, oh, Luka's here. Should I give him the ball? LeBron's here. Should I give him the ball? Is it my turn in those certain spots? Did not think that he had a great game, but still, he definitely was doing a lot of the dirty work defensively. So I give him a C-. A C- for Austin Reeves. Then A+ for Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent. We talked about those two. Combined, if I told you last night, you were combined 40 points from DFS and Gabe Vincent, you would think that, hey, this team can beat anyone in the league in any series because of how well the big three can play when they're at their best. Jared Vanderbilt, I'm giving him a C-. Haven't been impressed with him lately. He goes 1 for 6 from the floor, a -4 overall with him on the floor, 2.6 rebounds. Offensively, I'm not going to lie, it's painful to watch Jared Vanderbilt out there for the Lakers. My man struggles offensively, and it's going to be interesting to see how much they trust him in a playoff rotation. We know what he does defensively, but you look at the minutes, and that will tell you a lot about a player. The minutes down to 10 minutes, struggling offensively with the Rockets size. Jared Vanderbilt in a little bit of slump. Jordan Godwin, hate to give him a D, but I kind of will. 2 for 5, 4 points. He kind of fouled Fred Van Vliet there. By the way, you think Fred Van Vliet looks like Mike Evans? I saw someone point that out.
Snap.
That's a wild one, right?
Yeah, that's a good one, though. Actually,
we're going to run through the players that look like players later this week.
Pretty all right.
I didn't ever see that one. I thought he looked like Drake a little bit.
Drake one a bunch of times.
But Mike Evans, because Mike Evans kind of big. You know what's funny? I bet you like the same height, right? NBA players, NFL players. Yeah. Breaking news, NFL players are big, right? So Godwin, not the best night. Don't connect. He had a little stint in the second quarter. Defensively has not looked great. It's hard to play him in these big matchups. So I don't think we're going to see a ton of Dalton Connect. So I give Dalton Connect a C- just because he's a rookie, not his best. And then Jackson Hayes. Last one is Jackson Hayes. 3 points, 3 boards, 1 dime. Defensively, he's so important for this team that if he can just be respectable out there offensively and be a lob threat, do some dirty work defensively, he's going to be able to play. But going up against Zach Edey and Sengun the last couple of games, going to combine 31 minutes, has not really impressed. So that is my biggest concern, where the Lakers have a center. Will they have the big that allows them to play defense at a average-ish level and not put too much of a burden on the big three to do what they did last night? Because everyone's going to say LeBron and Luka didn't have a great night. If you watch them defensively, it was probably their best night. But here was LeBron James after the game talking about the win.
I thought defensively we was very locked in with our game plan and our what we wanted to do. It's a team that won, I think, 13 out of 14. They've been red hot, probably the hottest team in the NBA. And we understood that we had to key in on our keys defensively in order to win the game.
Are you someone that looks at the standings? Have you done that in the past, and why or why not?
Well, I mean, because it's so close yet. You know, this year in particular, it's so close and people are jumping each other, falling behind, whatever the case may be. It's not like I don't do it every day, but, you know, it's talked about pretty much all the time, and you kind of see where you're at. For us, obviously, our mission is to lock in a playoff spot and not have to play in the play-in. So we understand what's at stake.
LeBron's reaction to TikToks. And so, yeah, I mean, you hear LeBron James out there, and this guy knows how to time his team's runs better than any player that we've ever seen. So if people are going to call him the washed king, people are saying he's not moving right, let's wait until we see the playoffs, because LeBron can flip a switch better than any player in the history of the association. So he's still working his way back from the groin strain. He's still getting back in the swing of things. And let's be honest, he's not going to empty the tank against the Rockets in March. That's not what the King does. He knows that they need him for April, May, and hopefully for the purple and gold in June. But here was Luka Doncic after the game talking about this team win. Here's LeBron. Here's Luka. Win.
Yeah, definitely. Just do what the defense give you. You know, they got to give you something at some point. So, once we saw they're doing that, we're just telling those guys to shoot.
How do you feel also just with Gabe and your other teammates now, and how comfortable are you with the rest of the roster as well?
Great, very comfortable. As you saw today we fought really hard. It was a very physical game. And, we got to play like this every game. If we play like this on the defensive end, on offense, we didn't do much outside Gabe and Dodo, but we share the ball. We're playing forward with pace, and we just got to play like that.
So I love what he had to say right there. If we play like this every game, we're going to win. And it does get talked about enough because you don't see defensive stats other than steals and blocks and things like that show up in the box score. But it's the commitment on a possession per possession basis that really stood out yesterday. I mean, there was, Coach K used to kind of say it. When players get to the gym and it's an empty gym, they grab the basketball and start shooting, right? They don't just go and do defensive slides and this and that. That's just not how it works, right? So it's tough to quantify and evaluate defense, but they did it last night and it led to a win. Now, during the game, late in the game, there was a viral moment. A Lakers fan, a lady in the first couple rows, went viral because she was taking a little selfie. She was rocking her Lakers crop top. She was rocking her Lakers crop top. She was drinking some Beatbox, which is an alcoholic beverage. And everyone's saying, who is this lady? Who is this lady? Her name is Sandy_Gal. She posted this story yesterday. This story that's now John's lock screen on his phone that says, if you saw me at the Lakers game taking selfies, no, you didn't. So a lot of talk about this lady. I think she's an influencer, but what was she drinking on? What was she sipping on, J-Rob?
So B-Box is like, I would honestly call it the 2020s version of Four Loko.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like 14% alcohol. They look like, they're these like little pouches that almost look like, I guess like I would compare it to almost like a Capri Sun or a High C pouch, but it's like the adult version of it because it has a twist off cap and everything. Actually, it's a lot like you ever have Just Water?
Yeah,
It's like those
that
boxes.
coconut water type thing, right? That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, it's just like those, but they're really sweet, a lot of sugar. Definitely one of those drinks when you're in college, you go with your fake ID to go grab.
Oh, it's one of those?
Yeah. It's definitely like the $4 alcohol that the broke college kids are drinking right now for sure. So
shout out to Alvarado Street here in LA for the old fake ID days. Yeah, she's Sandy_gal. She has, let's see how many, I wonder how many followers she has today compared to yesterday, but she has 76,000 followers. She looks like she's an influencer of some sort. By the way, what do you like to sip on during games? You a beer guy? How do you get down at a Laker game?
honestly, I'll be honest, I'm not a beer guy at the game. I'm more of like, I'll just probably like sip like a margarita or something.
A margarita? I like that. That's a vibe for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a big Coke Zero guy at a game. You know what I'm saying? No, honestly, I'll crutch a couple beers for sure, especially at a Laker game. But yeah, that is her. And then after the game, LeBron James has been going viral for more reasons than usual. Typically, a LeBron viral moment is dunking on someone, is making a clutch shot, is saying something about Stephen A. Smith or in response to Stephen A. Smith or someone saying something about him. But there has been this movement on social media where fans are making LeBron James songs. The one that was the first one to really go viral was the R&B hit, the one that goes LeBron, LeBron, LeBron. But there have been more hits after that. Here are the top 5 LeBron James songs, and we're gonna get LeBron James's reaction because he's heard the songs, and we'll hear what he has to say. But here's the top 5 LeBron James songs made by fans. My favorite, I think they crushed that list. I would have the LeBron second, but the Michael Jackson Man in the Mirror, that to me, that's chef's kiss. I love that one. What's your favorite though?
Honestly, I happened to just stumble into like a Hey There Delilah version of LeBron.
Yes. That was a myth.
That was
that one, that should be on that list.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna be honest, D-Mac, the creativity that are going into these songs are electric. And then 2, it's the lyrics. Like the lyrics are good too. It's really funny.
Absolutely. The I'm looking at the man on the Lakers. Yeah. And there's going to be more to come. If none of those win a Grammy, I'll be very, very disappointed. But here was LeBron James reacting to fans and making those songs about his greatness.
Over the last 22 years, you've seen about fans, but there's a new trend going on, all those LeBron songs. I'm just curious if you've seen them.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost impossible, but my youngest son, Bryce, actually showed me one. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. And we got a good laugh out of it, but there's quite a few out there, for sure.
Was it the choir?
No, it wasn't the Baylor choir. I seen that one. I saw that one. It was, I don't know which one in particular it was. But my son, and they all on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, so they show.
So I think that this is just peak LeBron glazing at its very best. I think the AI, if it's AI, is incredible. So I think fans are awesome to do this, and I want to see more of these. I think Man in the Mirror definitely clears. Promiscuous was pretty okay, but just yeah. I mean, I almost cried the first time I saw the Man in the Mirror one. I thought that one just moves me, but Let's switch gears to Major League Baseball, where Jurickson Profar received an 80-game PED suspension. Major League Baseball has announced that Braves outfielder Jurickson Profar has been suspended for 80 games after testing positive for a performance-enhancing drug. This was first reported by Mike Rodriguez. And Mike Rodriguez first delayed that Profar was going to get suspension due to a positive test. Didn't want to completely say it was going to be a long suspension, but then the GOAT, the voice of record in Major League Baseball, came out. Jeff Passady confirmed that it would be a PED suspension, and Major League Baseball, they responded with a statement that read, "The Office of the Commissioner of Baseball announced today that Atlanta Braves outfielder Jurickson Profar has received an 80-game suspension without pay after testing positive for chorionic gonadotropin HCG, a performance-enhancing substance, in violation of Major League Baseball's Joint Drug Prevention and Treatment Program. The suspension of Profar is effective immediately." Then the team released a statement that read, "We were surprised and extremely disappointed to learn that Jurickson Profar tested positive for a performance-enhancing substance in violation of Major League Baseball's Joint Prevention and Treatment Program. We fully support the program and are hopeful that Jurickson will learn from this experience." And then Profar, this was the one that you all wanted to hear. What would he say? Because we know how these usually go. "I had no idea, but I will accept the suspension. I did not know what I was taking. It was a medicine that was given to me, but I will take the suspension," right? Well, here's what Profar had to say. "Braves fans, today is the most difficult day of my baseball career. I am devastated to announce that I have been suspended for 80 games by Major League Baseball and the Commissioner's Office for testing positive for a banned substance this season. This is especially painful for me because anyone who knows me and has seen me play knows I am deeply passionate about the game. There's nothing I love more than competing with my teammates and being a fan favorite. I want to apologize to the entire Braves organization, my teammates, and the fans. It is because of my deep love and respect for the game that I would never knowingly do anything to cheat it. I have been tested my entire career, including 8 times last season, and I've never tested positive. I would never willingly take a banned substance, but I take full responsibility and accept Major League Baseball's decision. I am devastated that I won't be on the field with my teammates for the next 80 games. I look forward to competing again at the highest level this season upon my return." So the big issue with this for me is, if you know anything about the story of Jurickson Profar, it was that in 2023, he looked like a role player. He looked like all he was an agitator, someone that got under the skin of the opposing team. I've called him baseball's Patrick Beverly. That's all he was good for. He hit 238, had a 92 weighted runs created plus, so he was 8% below league average, wasn't even an average hitter in 2023. His stock had fallen so far that he signed a $1 million deal with the Padres heading into 2024. That's slightly above the $740,000 league minimum. And last year, he was one of the surprise all-stars. He was the surprise all-star in the sport. He hit 280, had a 139 weighted runs created plus, so he went from 8% below league average to 39% above league average. His exit velocity skyrocketed. His hard hit rate went from 31.8% to 44.4%. And everyone wondered why. How is this happening? You don't see players at 31 that have struggled, if it's not due to injury, turn around this significantly in 1 year. Well, he parlayed that really nice all-star season with the Padres into a $42 million deal with the Braves. The Braves signed him for 3 years and $42 million, and now he is going to be out 80 games. And even worse than that, now that he can't take PEDs, what kind of player is he going to look like? But I always find this hilarious. These players, I had no idea. I never knowingly put a banned substance in my body. I'm surprised by this news as anyone. I will, however, abide by the league's decision and apologize to the Braves fans and organization. Like, that is such a bunch of crap. At some point, can we just get one of these dudes? I would respect Jurickson Profar more had he came out and said, well, you caught me. I definitely used PEDs last season. It impacted my performance greatly. I accept my suspension, but you know what? I signed a 3-year, $42 million deal. It was 100% worth it, and I'd do it again. When are we going to finally see that in Major League Baseball or in sports? This guy should not be able to collect that $42 million. He's an absolute fraud on fraud. And it makes me think of that moment in the NLDS against the Dodgers, where he robbed Mookie Betts of the home run. It looked like it was out. Then he hid the ball in his glove, only to reveal that he had caught it to troll the fans. Does he make that play without steroids? They should do a meme where he opens the glove and instead of the ball, it's a syringe there. You can't spell Padres without PED. First, it was Fernando Tatis Jr. a couple years with the ringworm cream, and now it's this. What's going on down in San Diego? Why is it down in San Diego that they have issues with performance-enhancing drugs? So Jurickson Profar, this totally destroys his career. He'll always be known as a guy that did PEDs, but he'll also be in a mansion somewhere with a Ferrari, a Rolls, having generational wealth. So, I mean, it sounds like it was worth it. J-Rob, I mean, think about it. No one wants to say that. It sounds like the wrong thing to say, but steroids for 1 year? I'm not saying I would do it. I would never do it.
Trading steroids for 1 year for $42 million.
He went from $1 million to his career might be over. Steroids, great year, 42 M's.
I mean, listen, he's a bad criminal, man. He got caught up. You know, he should have had some cleaner piss. I mean, I feel like obviously he should have had some cleaner piss. I mean, if you're gonna take these risks, you know the repercussions. Obviously, I agree with you. If somebody told him you use this needle, get this little juice, and I can get you $42 million, I mean, like what did Drake say? Sound like a fair trade to me. So, I mean, obviously it's awful and it's not good for the sport. I wouldn't condone doing this at all. However, he made a decision, and I mean, hey, I think you hit it on the nose to say I accept the league's punishment.
If I did not do steroids, if I truly thought in my heart of hearts and felt that way that I do steroids, I'm showing up at the league offices with a bat, with a torpedo bat, literally breaking through the window saying, you're not going to tarnish my name and my legacy, because that's what this does here.
Seriously.
When you are attached with steroids, that's always who you are. Barry Bonds, you can make the case he was already the best player ever before the steroids.
Right.
But he can't get past the steroids.
Right.
And sure, I'm here for the home runs went 450 feet instead of 425 feet, right?
Yeah.
But I actually talked to someone in Major League Baseball last year, and we talked about Jurickson Profar.
Right.
And they told me then he was on the juice. And I didn't believe it. I did not believe it. I was like, really? We doing juice in 2024 and 2025? It doesn't look like he's that big of a dude. So
and let me
maybe baseball is more of a steroid problem than they realize.
But do you think in today's, because obviously you've had a long history of covering this game, do you think in today's game, players, because of the access to all these, I mean, the medical, the nutrition, the training, do you think it's even necessary at this point in Major League Baseball, 2025 baseball, to even have to be considering steroids? I
think that this is a clear example of how it takes you from a bad player to an average player. In this case, it took it from a bad player to an all-star. Right. That's a huge leap. It'd be one thing if it was going from bad to average. They'd be like, okay, it's negligible. I do some extra reps, do some more batting practice, and I work with my hitting coaches, watch more analytics, and watch more tape. Maybe I get there. But this is the, hey, if I'm the steroid dealer, I'm like, hey, here's Jurickson Profar, bro. You want to be Jurickson? You want $42 million? Like, I'm using this as an example, right? If I'm pushing this stuff. Yeah. So like, that's kind of where I would be on that. But on the same token, it's like these guys have a very limited amount of time to make their money, right? That you got 5-10 year window at most, really. I mean, you talk about these big contracts, like those are 10 dudes. Like those are seriously like 10 to 12 dudes that sign these monster deals. The rest of them are fighting for every dollar they can get throughout their career. And I do think that this hurts the Padres too. I think that this makes the Padres look like a dirty organization, right? It looks like an organization that's had multiple players that have dealt with performance enhancing drugs. So yeah, I mean, I talked to someone at Dodger Stadium that covered the Bonds steroid era, and they told me, look, Barry Bonds was the best hitter they've ever seen before the steroids, but when he took the steroids, man, it was like you go from Mario with like just the mushroom to the permanent star. You're right. It's just running through it, blinking,
invincible, jump as high as you want.
It's because it is a stimulant on your mind, so you can kind of react better. But I mean, hey, imagine they're all be on it. That'd be kind of lit. Like, let's be honest. No, obviously I don't mean that. But yeah, Profar, just an absolute fraud.
Yeah.
He should give that money back. And the Braves, there's got to be some type of clause in these contracts. I bet I see the thing about baseball, it has the strongest players union, but maybe when the new CBA comes rolling around, they'll look to put something in there that protects the organization from something like this. But switching gears, probably the juiciest story in sports, if it's even about sports, has to do with Pat McAfee. Now, on February 26th, on Pat McAfee's show that was filmed during the NFL scouting combine in Indianapolis, he discussed an unsubstantiated rumor about a student, Mary Kate Cornett from Ole Miss. McAfee joked about the claim that involved Cornett and her boyfriend's father and a supposed affair. The rumor, it spread like wildfire on an app called Yik Yak. J-Rob probably's got one of those, so follow him on Yik Yak. And it went through sports media figures like McAfee. ESPN's Adam Schefter even talked about it. It was this huge viral topic. I don't know if you guys caught wind of this as it was going on. And this rumor really, really impacted this lady's life. She claims that it absolutely has ruined her life. It says, as the rumor spread, Cornett was harassed online and on campus, leading to threats and even a swatting incident at her home. She was forced to move into emergency housing and change her contact information to escape the constant abuse. Despite the falsehood, McAfee and others continued to amplify it, even as Cornett publicly denied the accusations. Cornett's family, especially her father, expressed the emotional toll of seeing their daughter's life destroyed by a baseless rumor. Cornett is pursuing legal action against those responsible for spreading the lie, including McAfee and ESPN. Her attorney emphasized that the incident highlights the dangerous consequences of misinformation amplified for clicks and attention. The story reflects a growing issue of media figures prioritizing sensationalism over accountability, with lasting impacts for those that are caught in the crossfire. So this looks like a pretty serious thing. There was this online rumor, it was circulating. She was a college freshman, says that she slept with her boyfriend's dad, and she's been bullied. She's been bullied and harassed. Feels like she can't go back and have a normal life at Ole Miss. Maybe she has to transfer. I do think that I haven't seen what Pat McAfee said about the rumor on his show, but if he did try to push a unsubstantiated rumor, that is irresponsible by Pat McAfee. It absolutely is. I mean, what is he thinking? I mean, that's kind of his problem right there. I think with a lot of things is you kind of jump the gun and you kind of skip the part where you are waiting for things to be credible. So yeah, I kind of hate this. I also don't know where it even came from and why it's even related to football, right? I guess was it because Jackson Dart is in the draft? I mean, do you know why this is a thing?
Honestly, I feel like it's always during this time of the year that like something kind of comes out late game. I will say though, like this is one of those stories where the internet is so powerful. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion. And I do feel bad because sometimes you get caught in a crossfire from a rumor. Like this girl just got senteled and now her life.
That's funny.
Nah, for real. Like she got senteled and her life, you know, she can't get a job or everybody knows her from this, circumstance. And it is hard, socially talking to people. And the other issue is, you may be able to switch schools, but then if you switch schools and somebody gets wind, all these major universities have their own bar stool. I mean, there's a UConn bar stool, there's an Ohio State bar stool, Michigan bar stool. So it's like these type of like rumor mill stories, TMZ-esque tales, they end up becoming whirlwinds for certain people, and they do live with the consequences. I mean, There's people right now, D-Mac, who are still famous from their one meme from a year ago. Like the Hawk Tua girl has gone through such a up and down situation since her rise to fame after one drunken night out at the bars with her friends. And now she has to live to be this girl known from a meme. So it's like,
and the thing too was there was AIs, there was photoshops of her and other celebrities, and it was McAfee who brought it up to Adam Schefter, and this thing that absolutely exploded. The FBI got involved, and you just don't want to see that. So yeah, it's definitely not good. You don't want to see public doxing, and yeah, if you are Pat McAfee, I think what he needs to do is do the right thing and just issue a flat out apology. Say this was completely false. Say that, as you point out, he got senteled. He got senteled and run with it. It happens to the best of us. It definitely does, because of this 24-hour news media cycle where everyone wants to be first. Everyone wants the clicks, right? Everyone wants to get ahead of the game. And yeah, I mean, it probably, look, I feel bad for the lady. She actually set up a foundation that helps people with other similar scandals. So yeah, the pic that the funny thing is the pic that Antonio Brown posted was with Shane Gillis. It was a fake picture of Shane Gillis. But we'll see what happens with that. But you just can't be having this. Hopefully this girl has no issues moving forward. Then we got something that we should have had a long time ago. That is, the overtime rules has changed in the NFL for the regular season. The regular season overtime rules now, we're going to match the ones that we see in the playoffs. Both teams will have a chance to get a possession, even if the offense scores a touchdown on the opening drive. The proposal was amended to make overtime 10 minutes, not 15 minutes. So, only issue I have with this is that you're going to have ties with the 10 minutes. I think that you go with this, but go to 15 minutes. And you know what? Forget it. Just go full college football rule.
Yeah, honestly, either go full college football rules, because I'm going to be honest, I feel like football is a sport, D-Mac. I don't want to see a tie in football. It just doesn't make enough sense.
It's the worst.
There's not enough football games in the schedule to
it's annoyingly check that. Like, that looks so gross on the standings.
And it doesn't make sense, because this is a league, D-Mac, that only plays. You play 16, 17 games a season. In college, you play 11. You know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of like standings, playoffs, implications, draws in football do not make sense. It doesn't help anybody involved. It makes that a lot harder. I think it needs to be more decisive, because especially with the number of games. But I don't know why the NFL just doesn't decide to adopt college rules. If they adopt college rules, let's be real, D-Mac, college overtime rules are more exciting than the NFL ones. Well, at least in my opinion, because it is predicated to scoring. You can get a field goal or you can score the game. The other team knows what they need to get. And if both teams get hot, it's like a 3-point contest.
Exactly.
In
it's
football.
So much fun.
Yeah.
The difference is that the NFL players hit harder. You're already adding more games. Mm-hmm. You want to see more time if you're an NFL player, because it's like, I got to do more work for less money type of thing. From a fan's perspective, though, we want to see a win or a loss. Yeah. Like ties, like outside of soccer, you just don't, like ties in general, they're just not fun, right? They mess up the standings. The NFL, I think I just cringe when I see ties. So let's find out. Let's see how this plays out. But I do think that that's going to be one of the negative outcomes of this. NFL overtime has been a very big buzzkill for so many years, because it's like, team gets it, they score, it's over, you get a walk-off, or they punt, you get a field goal, it's kind of a walk-off. So having another team possess the ball, I do think is going to be good for the sport, because otherwise it's like a coin flip is essentially deciding the game, and you don't want to have that happen. But let's make it 15 minutes, and then let's experiment with the college football rule. That'd be really fun. But a couple more here. Mark Cuban absolutely roasted a fan that responded to him, and Mark Cuban tweeted out, "Hey, Gavin Malloy, how much of a bonus did you get when I sold?" And then Gavin Malloy came back. Wait, actually, who is Gavin Malloy? Anyone know? I don't think it's a fan. Let me look it up. Well, actually, you know what? Let me look this up real quick, and we'll switch gears to UConn and USC from yesterday. So I want to say this. UCLA is playing UConn in the Final Four, so we got to have a bet, J-Rob and I. I say if UConn wins, I have to wear J-Rob's authentic UConn football jersey and helmet for this show for a whole month. I just want to do that because I wish I had that experience. But we got to think of some type of bet. But hey, got to give USC credit. Playing without Juju Watkins, they were playing UConn tough. Paige Beckers made all the big shots. We got producer Robert over there that showing his Trojans some loves. But yeah, it was always going to be a big time challenge in a kind of Dave versus Goliath uphill battle without Juju Watkins. And really, you know what I saw? I was kind of depressed to watch that because I was like the whole Caitlin Clark thing and like how much she made women's college basketball a major thing on the national level. To see that again is unlikely.
Right.
But if we had Juju Watkins against Paige Beckers and then even Juju Watkins again against UCLA, it would just been great for the sport.
Yeah.
But UConn came up with the win. They do what they do in the tournament and they advanced.
Yeah, I'm spoiled, man. I'm going to the national championship 4 years straight at UConn. Two, three with the boys, with the girls. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, Doug. I think since I went to UConn back in 2015 to this point in my life, I don't think I've gone a single year in the last 10 years without a UConn team being either in a Final Four or a national championship, men's or women's.
It's pretty remarkable, man. You're like in your Dodgers era for the UConn. So yeah, it's in the golden age of UConn hoop. So yeah, it must be nice. Must be nice.
And I got to add one thing because we got to give these flowers. You know, we talk about Mount Rushmore of college basketball coaches. I feel like when you put those 4 names in those stones, D-Mac, Wooden is there. And I know Gino Auriemma is there.
100%.
The other 2, you can figure it out. But if Wooden is there, Auriemma is right next to him. I mean,
the thing that he's accomplished is one of the hardest things to accomplish is he's unreachable.
Yeah.
He's out of reach.
Yeah.
He's out of reach. It ain't happening. Good luck.
Fact.
Dawn Staley, good luck. How many she got?
she has what, 2
3
or 3?
or 3?
And it's crazy because I think she has 3, and it's still like it's so much ground to still have to cover. And what makes it worse, D-Mac, he's still coaching. Like they're still one of the
exactly. So you got to catch him while he's still winning. And I mean, they got to be the favorites to win it. I mean,
sure.
Hopefully the Bruins can step up, but that UConn team is tough. It's going to be a tough matchup. It's going to be. I think that's a national championship, right? I think the winner that wins that wins a national
UCLA,
championship.
UConn, me by far.
Yeah.
I think the winner of our Final Four matchup against one another is the champion. And listen, if UConn wins, I'm pulling up Saratoga water, bananas, ice bowl. We're gonna have a party up here.
Let's do it. I love it. I love it. So Malloy is an employee of the Mavericks. He was an employee of the Mavericks, and he responded to Mark Cuban, and he said, Mark said, "Hey, Gab Malloy, how much of a bonus did you get when I sold?" And Malloy said, "Mark Cuban, not enough to make up for the Luka trade. I'd give your dirty money back for Luka to be here. How about you?" And then Mark Cuban wrote like a 10-paragraph senior thesis here. He says, "Gavin Malloy, you didn't say a word when it showed up in your account, did you? Sure looked good when we made it to the finals, didn't it? I did every damn thing I could for 23 years, kept prices lower than not only any NBA team, but lower than college teams too. I had $2 tickets for multiple years. When I sold, there were always 4K tickets under $29. I made money 2 out of 23 years. I was the majority owner, lost hundreds of millions of dollars, and you kept on collecting your salary. So my dirty dollars didn't get a peep out of you of those 23 years, or when you got your check every 2 weeks, or when you got your bonus. Go back to what I said when I sold the team. I didn't want my kids and family to have a deal to deal with people like you. I honestly got tired of growing the number of fans and the growing number of fans too that would become pricks. On social media, people exactly like you. I paid your salary. I paid your bonus. I didn't have to give you. The Nico and the new owners do something none of us liked, and you decide to try to F with me. Thank you for confirming I made the right decision." So that really is interesting. I mean, I think Mark Cuban, a lot of Dallas fans want to see him back because they don't feel like he would have traded Luka Doncic. He famously said if it was between trading Luka and leaving my wife, that you'd find me at the divorce lawyer the very next day. So yeah, things are sad. Dallas is down bad. and Mark Cuban off the top rope. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Big Lead. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and comment Luka Magic down below. When you comment Luka Magic down below, you become eligible to win our next giveaway that comes at 2,000 subscribers. And when you subscribe, when you have the notification bell on, when you comment Luka Magic, you are eligible to win, not just on this episode, but all of our cuts from the episodes, the other videos. So be sure to do that. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. And until next time.